afternoon, everybody. Christmas week, and we are in the spirit here at the Maize and Blue Review. Yeah, we're ready to go, and here he is joining us on this Monday. Former Wolverine Jim Scarcelli. Scar, great to see you. I got a text about you over the weekend, and my friend said, hey, ask Scar if he would be so high on Signetti if he wasn't Italian. I said, I don't know. I'll ask him.
I'm about results, D. I don't care who you bring in, man. I don't care what flavor, what ethnicity, what religion. Go out there and start cracking dudes. So I know it's the Christmas spirit, but Denny, I'm bringing it today, man. I'm bringing some Scrooge today, man.
Oh, Scrooge. Well, we've got the Citrus Bowl coming up. Before you know it, it's going to be Michigan on the field taking on Texas. Acting head coach Biff was addressing the media today. The Michigan basketball team remains at number 2 in the country. They have moved to 11-0. We'll get Scar's thoughts on Dusty May's crew during the Christmas break, but we are still in a coaching search. And Scar, Michigan, they had what seemed to be a tandem of leading coaches, both with the initials KD, Kalen DeBoer, Alabama, Kenny Dillingham from Arizona State. Dillingham said he was not offered. He signed a deal Saturday morning, and then DeBoer won his game against Oklahoma, so he's now playing and moving on to the playoffs. Let's just start there on those two and how that played out. What's your thinking on that?
You know, those guys are, they're good coaches. There's a lot of great coaches out there that have done a lot of great things. You know, Kenny Dillingham has a small body of work. He's done well for a short body of work. There's a lot of risk there still. He got it right with the quarterback. He's done it right now. 2 years in a row. He's been real good last year. And DeBoer, again, you got to watch the guys that get it right with the quarterbacks. He got it right at Fresno and he got it right at Washington, and found a way to win. And at Alabama, but there's great people out there, Danny. I'm gonna get right into. So anyway, as far as not getting them, no big deal. But I'm going to get into something that people aren't really talking about so much. Denny, I was a former high school coach, and I still get calls occasionally about guys looking to see if they can get me out of retirement. I was talking to an AD just yesterday, a guy I know, and there's a job opening, and he was talking to me and another guy that trying to get someone to coach there, a guy that I know, a really proven coach. And we were going back and forth about the Michigan thing, BS. And he said the first question, the other guy that I know who's also he's trying to get the job, that he asked was, well, who's the principal at the school? Okay, so the moral of that story is this: we've got an athletic director. That relationship, Denny, when you look. This goes for anybody in any line of work. Before you're going to uproot your family, especially the people we're looking at are highly marketable people that we're going to ask them to pick up their family and leave and move. So put yourself into any job, okay? I've worked in business, same kind of deal. We're all looking for the same thing. When we sit down and interview with that dude, we want to know we can trust him, that everything he says is real, and he's going to fight like hell for me if he asks me to bring my family, whether it's business, whatever. So Ward Manuel is that guy, and that guy right now is under investigation. Okay, that athletic department is under investigation. People aren't talking about this. Hey, Angelique, do a story about Jordan Aker putting Ward Manuel under investigation. No one's talking about it. Joe Klatt, do an investigation about Jordan Aker. Are you're gonna show his text messages here in a minute, Denny?
So wasn't it the interim university president that announced that there was going to be an investigation in the athletic department? You're putting that on Aker and company?
Well, I thought it was Aker that was the one pushing that.
Oh, it could be. I don't know.
I thought I read that. Well, maybe I'm wrong. So okay. Anyway, this is the kind of stuff Harbaugh dealt with. You want to talk about that real quick, because I don't know who the other end of the messages is.
Well, the other end of the message is a self-proclaimed psychopath that wanted to be in the media and kind of was. He ran his own website, but he burned everything to the ground, and he resurfaces once in a while to I don't know, argue with people, I guess is the nice way to put it. So here he is. He don't ever DM him or text him, because anything that is confidential, because he'll put it out there no matter what you think. So
anyway, Jordan Aker he's in a position of authority at Michigan. Okay, so he's communicating with this dude. He hangs out with this type of dude. Okay, so look at the quote. For what? Right to life director? So Jordan Aker rolls with those kind of dudes. So he's taking a direct shot at Jim Harbaugh's faith. So
yes.
Hell yes, it is, Denny. That's what he did. Okay, so he rolls with those kind of guys. So if you're I don't know if you're a candidate and you're looking at Michigan, I don't know if you're a religious guy. Apparently Jordan Aker has an issue with some of that stuff, because he's hanging out with those kind of dudes. Anyway, I know I don't want to beat up that's a small part, but it's a statement that Jim had to deal with. So if you're looking to interview at Michigan or move your family up from a great situation, because a guy like Jeff Brom, who's winning, we heard his name. All he's done is win everywhere he's ever been. Are you going to want to come deal with this kind of stuff that Harbaugh dealt with? These guys are still here. They're still at Michigan. Jordan Aker's still there. He's a self-promoting. Jordan Aker he's a self-promoter, man, is what he is, and he's a backstabber. So that guy's still there, and he's got our athletic director under investigation. So those are huge things that people have to understand, because again, it's the same stuff in high school. I remember my coach telling me about a job. He's like, man, you got to watch out. My high school coach was telling me these people were interested in me, and he's like, man, you got to watch out about the leadership over there. That superintendent's shady, and it's the same damn questions. So I wish that Angelique would do a story about Aker and the role he's playing in making this search difficult. And I wonder what kind of stumbling blocks Ward is running into trying to recruit because listen, we can all throw out names. We've all thrown out names out here. You can attack me because I like Jeff Brom, and I like the guy at Vandy. He's got a short, he's only done it for a couple of years, but he's proven some things. There's a lot of, real good coaches out there. We can all yell and argue about that. But at the end of the day, you got to get that dude in front of Ward. And at the end of the day, that guy has to be feeling a great relationship with that athletic director. That you and I are together. We're tied at the hip. I'm going to fight like hell for you. You're going to fight like hell for me. And all these other buzzards over here, you're going to put them in check so I can coach the damn football team. So I just want to start with that because, Denny, who's guys that I think, again, I talked about that I would, if I was interviewing for the job, I would reach out to Jim Harbaugh. I would ask him about everything he dealt with. If I'm a guy like Jeff Brom or a highly touted guy that we want to get, I would reach out to Brady Hoke. Even though a lot of them people are gone, I want to know about Michigan. I want to know about the culture of Michigan. Obviously you ain't going to hear nothing good from Rich Rodriguez, but the guys that can really save the day for us, guys like John Beeline, guys like Dusty May, those are the guys I would reach out to if I was interviewing. So I know I threw a lot at you. Go ahead.
Let me give you two things. One is that Jim Harbaugh, most of him, I'm not putting you into this group, but most of his supporting cast, his best friend that's on Twitter or his former lawyer. So we're talking about what Anson and Mars. Those guys seem like they sabotage and cut Ward Manuel out at the knees nonstop. I mean, Todd Anson has it in for Ward Manuel. He makes him sound like he's the devil, and he's the mouthpiece for Jim Harbaugh. So if Jim Harbaugh was here, I don't think Jim Harbaugh is going to say anything nice about Michigan's athletic director, and you show him these, which I'll get to in a moment. These direct messages with this with the allegedly Aker, and so there's another piece of it. So I think what is that there's not great university alignment right now. Just for Ward, I don't know how many people you want to talk to, but you want to know that somebody's going to be in a foxhole with you, and you can't guarantee that Ward Manuel is going to be here past April. And so you almost, if you're getting into this, you have to say, I don't know who the next athletic director is going to be. We've got politics running amok, like with a lot of universities with the regents, but I'm coming in, I'm getting the top 5, certainly top 10 job. And so I'm going to deal with it. I think those are the things that a coach needs to look at. Okay.
Yeah, I get it, Denny, but you're asking them to leave a great situation. You're asking a coach to leave a great situation where we have to. So basically what you're saying is we got to find a guy who's a damn good coach, proven coach, winning coach, couple spots, can win a championship, can beat Indiana, can out-coach Signetti, can out-recruit Ryan Day, can out-lead Lanning and all these guys. But at the same time, he has to roll the dice and say, well, let's just hope that Aker isn't going to stab me in the back.
Well, you can't say it would be if I was a coach and I could say, hey, remove Jordan Aker as a regent, and then that's going that'll be part of it. You can't do that. I mean, that it doesn't work that way. There's a process involved in it, and so you just have to deal with that. That's why I don't know what all the candidates look like. There's a lot of good things about being the next head coach at Michigan. Not having university alignment it could be a sticking point with the next head coach, but you might find one that is willing, because of the job, to have somebody else deal with it, as you say. And the thing that you talked to about Angelique specifically, why doesn't she run a story or whatever else? The thing about those text messages, you're dealing with a guy who tells everyone he's a psychopath, and if you spent 2 minutes researching how he deals with anybody in a public forum, he acts like that. I believe.
Okay, Denny, but the dude that's making decisions. Go ahead.
Here's the thing, Scar. You could I don't think he did make all that up. I think that is from Aker. But as a journalist, you can't say, well, these are allegedly some DMs between a complete psychopath and Jordan Aker. I mean, I think an editor would look at that and say, yeah, we're not going down that road.
Okay. Guilty by association. I guess it doesn't matter then. He hangs out with those kind of people.
You can say it. You can say, yeah. Well, why would a regent deal with someone who has spent his life trying to cut people down, get them fired, and chop them out at the legs? Good question. And you could ask him, and he would say, "I'm just speaking the truth."
Yeah, that's the guy we got making decisions. That's he's mocking, the guy's faith, whatever. Anyway. Danny, these are some. I'm going to just repeat again what I want. Preferably, I like a guy that worked under great people. I like a proven builder, a guy who's proven. Again, Signetti is like a real blueprint. The greatest blueprint ever, Denny. I thought about this. Probably ever in the history of college football. Take a look at what Yost did before he came to Michigan. You ever look at that guy's bio, Denny? Fielding Yost.
Fielding Yost.
Anyway, go take a look at that one day. He won at like 4 different places. He was only there like a year or two and just totally crushed it. Anyway, a proven builder, took over garbage and built it. Okay, if a guy can win taking over a joke, a dysfunctional cluster, imagine what he could do at Michigan. Okay, so I want a guy not born on third base, so I'm not looking at no coordinators. I don't want no hotshot coordinators, period. I want proven winners. So I know the guy at Georgia's catching some. There's some momentum there. Brom would be like that's like if I would do everything I could to try to get a guy like Jeff Brom. I'm big on Jeff Brom. Won at Western Kentucky, who won at Purdue, who doesn't have got him in the championship. He's winning at Louisville. He's 3-0 as far as I'm concerned. Clark Leah, I really like him. Now I talked about him. He's got a short. A short body of work. Someone was dogging, I said Clark Leah, and someone was dogging me out. Well, he's only 16 and 28. Do you understand what the hell Vandy was before he got there? People have to look at what the guy took over And if a guy can build a dysfunctional thing, imagine what he can do with 110,000 and all Joe Lynn's money and all the resources in Michigan. So anyway, I don't want no GA.
I took Clark Lee off my list because 3 weeks ago he signed an extension. So
I know. But Denny, I'm just talking about the blueprint of what I'm looking for.
Well, that's fine. Having a blueprint is absolutely fine. I put up a short list of guys that I have my own profile, and I agree with you. I think that the coach needs to have prior head coaching experience. Yeah. I think that's going to be something that Ward's looking for. And I also think that he should have no connections with Jim Harbaugh. So both of those things, people keep throwing a lot of those names out that don't fit that profile. That's fine. And Michigan could be in a situation where, you could say, hey, not that they're beggars, can't be choosers, but they're at a spot that they still want to hire the best head coach. And people think that there could be coordinators and guys with ties to Harbaugh that could be better than these guys that I have on the list. Let me specifically ask you about Whittingham. He's put himself in the transfer portal, and he's a pretty accomplished coach. People point to his age. That's the first barrier. But the thing that with Whittingham is that people talking, well, we love Kurt Cignetti. Oh, Whittingham and Cignetti are about the same age, 2 years apart. So that's the thing. So the age thing, I think Whittingham, they talk about fallback because they can have him at any time. I think that, to me, Whittingham and just the guy and Braum, these two, I think that they can have these guys anytime, just like they could have Fleck and maybe Key at Georgia Tech at any time. So these guys, I would put as they fit the profile, and they could be the guys.
Yeah, go back to your list, Denny. I'm always been a big Jeff Braum fan. Period. I'm big on Lance Leipold from the bottom. He built a terrible Buffalo program. Kansas was flat out 1-10 or something, and he struggled the last couple of years. But he's a flat out stud. He took over 2 garbage programs. Willie Fritz at Houston. All that guy does it. He wanted Houston, and he wanted Tulane, and he's got Houston winning right away. So I would not be dissatisfied with Willie Fritz. Okay, he's
the senior circuit, and
then listen. I mean, he could go. I get it, man. He could. We'll talk about Biff in a minute, but Willie Fritz is a winner. He's won 2 different places, and Kyle Whittingham is something that you guys. I wouldn't be crushed if someone brought Kyle Whittingham in, Denny. Because he's he didn't have. I think he got out of there. He didn't have the NIL. And another name that I've heard is the guy at SMU. He's done a great job at SMU too. Lashley,
sure.
They play good. He plays good defense. He's a lot of times them quarterback guys. They don't play good defense, but he had him in the tournament last year. SMU, small little SMU. He's a damn good coach. So.
Well, if age isn't a barrier, every show people they love saying Anis's name, and you like him, and the age part is the one with both Whittingham and Anis. And I thought, well, but you get down to it, and it's also you're thinking, I wouldn't want anybody over 70 years old. I didn't think I would want anybody over 65, but you got to be. Maybe you got to loosen up some of them. You can't have such a strict filter and profile on everyone saying, nope. Because you would like a guy that has won championships at multiple places. But there's not many of those running around.
Yeah. Jim Mora I mentioned his name, it's apparently UCLA is a tough place to win, but he got got his thing going, his mojo going again at UConn and Colorado State hired him, but there's some good people out there, and again, I'm not in there with Ward, but there's good names, Denny. Losing out on DeBoer or winning Dillingham are not the end of the world. There's great people out there, man.
Okay, why not get to Biff now? Biff, the big news from Biff talking today was that Biff revealed that Ward Manuel told the Michigan players this morning that there would be a new head coach in place by the bowl game. The bowl game is on New Year's Eve at 3:00. So we're in the countdown of 9 days. Michigan will have a head coach in 9 days. Now,
okay, let me just say this about the players. Put that little statement up there. Okay, players want Biff, right? A lot of players like. Let me tell you, 1920.
This is what LJ is saying. Yeah,
okay, whatever. Let me just start with them. Okay, a 19, 20-year-old kid, they don't know what's best for the future of Michigan football. They don't. I was that kid one time, and I don't know what's best for the future, and he ain't it. Okay, this more than anything, I can't say it loud enough and with enough confidence. He has absolutely nothing on my profile. Okay, I talked about it, and Saban talked about building. He didn't go to some public school. Listen, let me just say this. He's a good man. I'm not attacking his character, but he didn't go into some school in Baltimore, some little public school, and coach the kids that were in that building and make them champions. You understand the difference, Denny?
Sure.
Okay, you're talking to a high school coach for 25 years. I know the difference between guys. There's guys that go get kids from wherever, steal kids, and then there's guys that coach the guys that are in their building. He didn't coach the guys that were in his building. Okay, so he built it. However, Saban talked about money, so I got no respect for it. Flat out. Okay, so now you come to Michigan. Jim brings you to Michigan, help recruit at St. Francis. You've been around, and so you get an opportunity then to show what you can do. I read a statement. He had a statement. Angelique had an article about him. He said, "Why hire you? I know what I'm doing." Really? You got crushed at Charlotte. If you know what you're doing, I don't want to hear about, you didn't get enough time. What did Cignetti do in 1 year? What are these other guys doing in 1 year? The right guy finds a way to bring in the right players right away. He don't need 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Okay, so it wasn't even close. I watched his teams play over there. That's your resume, Biff. That's your resume, man. So I don't want to hear that at all. His resume is that record over at Charlotte. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's almost laughable to consider that a flat out loser compared to other names of guys that have actually led and done and been successful. So I don't want to, Denny. I want a guy that when Cignetti looks across from him, he's going to fear him. When Ryan Day has to go recruit against this guy, he's going to fear him. Okay, I don't want sportsmanship awards, man. There's guys when I was coaching, there's dudes that win the sportsmanship award every year. Players like them, people like them, but they get their butt kicked every year. Okay, I don't want no coach who's winning the sportsmanship award. So I just can't say it loud enough that I don't care what he said in the press conference, man. You had a chance to prove yourself at Charlotte. It didn't get done. Go ahead.
Yeah, overall, I think you're correct. I don't think that Biff Poggi has a chance to be the next head coach. I think, one, the way I look at it is there's not another program that would hire him in the country, even at the, MAC level. So, having him take over the reins at Michigan doesn't make any sense. I know, people say, well, he'll keep the recruits. You're not sure of that. And the thing is that if he was the coach, immediately you're prolonging. You're going to have another coaching search probably next year, and then if not, and that hurts the program overall. It's nice that he is dealing with the family and doing everything he can as in a tough situation to get Michigan through the rest of 2025. But then he'll be on his way.
Yeah, we don't need a counselor, Denny. They don't need a counselor. They want a guy that's going to beat Ryan Day. We need a guy that's going to beat Lanning. We got to go to Eugene next year.
You're right, Scar. But actually, they do need a counselor from here with everything that has gone on with the program. I think what he said today, that it was good that he was candid, but I don't think it's going to help out his candidacy to be the next head coach, which I didn't think he had a shot anyway. But he said, look, the last 5 years, it has been 5 years of a malfunctioning organization. So he has taken everyone, and anyone that's a Michigan fan that's been like, oh, Jim Harbaugh bought, oh, Ward Manuel, oh, Connor Stallions, all those things.
Danny, I got to stop you. Danny, I got a question.
It's been it's been a malfunctioning organization.
Okay,
all of them.
Was he specific about football being dysfunctional or the University of Michigan's athletic department?
Well, he said it's been fun. He's the football coach right now, the acting football coach.
Okay, well,
he's talking about the football building, and he said, and this was his point, Scar. If you don't like that, because I know you see like, oh, that's, but Jim, we all love Jim still. Look, and that's fine. I don't want people to not like Jim Harbaugh if they liked him or feel like they. Have to, have some kind of penance and, can't enjoy the natty from 23 or any of that stuff. I mean, do whatever you want. But he's been on Zoom with the parents and the mothers. And he relayed the one story that one of the moms said, every time I turn around, there's something messy going on with football. And what am I supposed to tell her? It's true. It is true. There's been something messy going on. So he said his only job is to just help the players. So he does need a counselor. The football coaches and in this bowl game and everything else, it's all, these guys just need, somebody to.
Well, then hire him hire him. And we had Greg Harden over there when I was playing.
Yeah. Well, put
him in that role.
He's just keeping the seat warm.
Yeah. Let him be a counselor. Come over and hug guys.
I would look at it like this. I mean, what do you want? A guy up there to say, nope, I'm taking myself. I don't want the job.
I get it. I get it. I'm just giving my.
I think he's going to have his 9 days, and then that's going to be it. So I'm not going to get worked up about.
Well, I'm
coaching being a candidate.
No, I wish he would have been specific about the dysfunctional organization.
He was specific. He was talking about Michigan.
I know, but is it Jordan Aker, the regent? Self-promoting, backstabbing.
If you wanted to put him in there too, if you want
to. Okay, well, there's a big difference between because again, man, are you talking about just football, or are you talking about the knives and the arrows getting thrown from all different directions?
The football's been messy, and it's been messy.
No, you're right.
And it's been messy at the athletic director. That's one thing. People want to say, "Oh, it's Ward, but not Jim Harbaugh. Oh, it's the Regents, but not the." It's all of them.
You're right. I agree with that, Danny. I agree with you there. I wish I just was asking if he was specific. What else, Danny? I'm bringing the Scrooge. Somebody like Whittingham there, huh?
Well, we'll put some feedback up here. You can just answer it. He says Ward can't be under investigation. He's still in the building.
Well, I just assumed that the athletic department, from what I've read, the athletic department there's an investigation, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was initiated by Jordan Aker, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, but anyway,
the president. So
somebody's doing it, and that's the dude interviewing the coach. So put yourself in that coach. Scar is just a youngster. Poggi and Whittingham, maybe he can be.
There you go.
I'm just listen. We try not to beat up the past, but these dudes that that were part of the past are still there. So.
Well, speaking of the past, John's saying that they pushed Harbaugh out. So there you go.
Yeah, I think listen, I saw Whittingham. I went to UCLA, saw them play Utah. I was down there on the field, and the guy, he looks like he's in shape still, man. And listen, what I liked about Whittingham's Utah teams, and they've done well. I'd like to, but they're physical, Danny. They're a physical team in all ways, shapes, and forms. They're physical on defense. They fit right into what we want, and he could be a great 4-year deal. I don't know, but what else did I think I beat up again. I just think Denny Dusty May might be one of the biggest sales pitches guys we got. And Dusty May, again, he fits a profile. I know a lot. Again, my profile is I like to have a guy who worked under great people and has proved himself as a leader. And Dusty's a lot like Clark Leah, worked under great people and only has a short body of work. Dusty only did it for like a couple of years at Florida Atlantic, right?
Yes, that's true.
It's a short body of work, but we're seeing that Ward hit the jackpot there, and so finding a football coach, again, I want worked under great people, short body, a little body of work. You can hit the jackpot, man. Schembeckler only had a short body at Miami of Ohio, but it was enough, Well,
that's what I think people wanted Dillingham. Dillingham had a lot of the same kind of stuff as Dusty. Young guy, was one place, took Arizona State to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Spent a minute at Eastern Michigan, so right down the road, was in Washtenaw County for a little bit, but obviously that is not happening.
No, he is definitely right in the profile of Dusty May. Exactly. He worked under a lot of great people. There was a great coordinator. He had his one shot, and he did good with it. What the hell else, Denny? Football version of Dusty May would be great. Hey, listen, I got Texas film. If anybody gives a damn, I'm looking at Texas. I'm going to say this, man. That again, Denny, I'm an old former player. I'm thinking about these guys are going to play their last game, and what's the media talking about? What's the media talking about? So I'm gonna throw one more.
The media is talking about what the fans want to hear.
I know, but Denny, I don't know. Can I say F you? Can you say that on this show? F you?
I don't think so. I think we've put
I won't say that. I won't. I'm just gonna. I like to say that how disgusted I am with Sharon Moore because of what these seniors, these players are getting. They're not getting the attention and the focus on their last football game like they should be. So he's the only guy responsible for that. And I'm just, as a former player, I didn't have that happen to me in my last game. The attention was on the players who are about to play their last game. All hands were on deck, fired up, ready to go. And he cheated a lot of players, man, because they're losing. I just had to say it, and I feel bad for these players. Hopefully they find a way to beat a damn good Texas team.
I hear you on that. There's so many people that he let down. And the thing is, when he stood up at that podium, even though he was sitting on a throne of lies the whole time, he always talked about when people asked him about, ascending to being the head coach, how honored he was and what a privilege it was. And, how he was saying one thing and, he was sabotaging it.
Yeah.
Another one. So there it is. I think Biff, I know we just talked about him, but Biff said it the best for himself today. He said, Sharon's dead to him. So there you go.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, because he screwed a lot of those players, man.
Screwed a lot.
Look at the coaches, Denny.
Chip, those coaches.
Chip was, he's, again, this says something about the assistant coaches. Chip was able to get a job right away. I'm interested to see who can get a job because all them coaches are screwed, man. They do have a contract though. I guess they have another. They'll get paid for something. But you get an assistant job at Michigan, you're at the top of the field, and you're at the top. You're ready to roll. You're ready to get a coordinator job somewhere, a head coaching job somewhere. You succeed there. So, yeah. Anyway, we can't keep beating that up. But there's some good names on that list, Denny. There are some damn good names on that list. And I hope Ward and Sean McGee and what's the other dude? Doug Ganacki and our search committee, that Ward's closing deals, man.
Yeah, there's one part there. If you were trying to get together on all of what's going on, and so now we know that at least what Manuel told the players today is that Michigan will have a new head coach before the bowl game. So you got 9 days. And Courtney Morgan, who played at Michigan and worked at Michigan, and then he's been around. What did he go to the West Coast? And now
he's been with DeBoer.
So he has been spotted in Ann Arbor. Now, was he just coming back? So he's coming in to do something. And so he's got ties with DeBoer. Is there a chance? And this is, I thought when DeBoer lost, I'm sorry, when he won the game that he was out of play, that Michigan wasn't going to wait around for him. But having Morgan in town, possibly, setting things up while, DeBoer does his thing, at least it's worth mentioning and something to think about.
That is scoop, Denny. That's scoopage right there, man. Because he's been with DeBoer for like the last 4 or 5 years, right? You went to Washington with him, and then he went to Alabama with him.
Yeah. So what's he doing in town?
That's interesting information, and it does say something. Well, he did go to Michigan, though, right?
He went to Michigan. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been hanging out. I don't know, but probably
during a coaching search,
going down to get some pizza bobs. I don't know. You may want to come in for a holiday.
He just wanted to come in. I
don't know, Denny. There's something there, man. That's something there because he's not a little guy. He was spotted. Those big fellas, they get spotted,
Yeah, yes. I don't know. That's right. It's not like when a Day Mara in 10, 20 years he comes back. He's not just coming back for some Mr. Spots. People will know. So, hey, there's Mara. What's going on?
I'm surprised I'm getting no pushback on my thoughts on Biff. I think people must have agreed with that. Then I'm just listen. He's a nice man. He's a good man, but I can't. I just hope there's absolutely nothing there from Ward. I just gotta hope there is.
I agree with you. So I'm with you. I don't think that there's any chance that they're going to.
All right, then I just want to make sure because
I know there's fans that.
Let me say this too, Denny. Denny, there's a coach at Eastern Michigan who's I would be more comfortable with than Biff. All that guy did is take over garbage at Eastern Michigan. You watch what he's done. He struggled the last couple of years. And there's a guy down 94 in Kalamazoo who just won a championship. People aren't talking about him. I'm surprised nobody has,
every show we do, somebody puts Tony Annese, even including this show here.
No, Denny, I'm talking about the guy at Western Michigan. Tony Annese, the guy at Western Michigan, Lance Taylor has won, man. And again, I talked about Tony Annese because he's won as a high school coach everywhere he's been. He went over to Grand Rapids Junior. I followed the guy because I know of him for a long time, and then I just would think that maybe his next stop would be in the MAC or something like that. But all he's ever done is win everywhere he's been, man.
Yeah.
But let me just say this about Ferris, Danny. I got to say this because I dealt with all them guys through recruiting. Ferris, Northwood, Grand Valley, they would all come into the school. And Ferris could get guys in that I could never get in any of them other schools. So whatever that has to do with recruiting, you understand? They would be the one school in that whole GLIAC Division II deal that I could get. They would actually recruit some guys that damn near all them other guys could never recruit them.
Steve Kasula is the offensive coordinator for the bowl game.
Yeah. So I don't know, Denny. No interest in film. I guess. See, that's what I mean. We're taking the focus off of Texas, and no one cares about looking at any film. But I get it, man. We got to get the right coach.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, you want to go ahead and put some film up? Let's do it. Let's have about 2-3 plays. Let's do it.
Well, okay. Let me get it up.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Where are we at here? That.
Scar's working.
Do you have the film up?
Yeah, it's there.
Okay, we'll just Denny. I marked stuff earlier. We looked at that. I think their offensive line is as good as a big, strong, tough offensive line as we've seen. Big and athletic. I would look at the film. I would look at, Denny, if I was coaching more than anything, is the game we played them last year on both sides of the ball. That's where I always started as a coach. You say, okay, well, I want to look at what they're doing now, but you got to get an idea what the guy believes. How did he attack our defense? Those are things I always started with as a coach. How does he want to attack me, and then what did we do against him? I know it's different coordinators for us on offense, but they've got some real good skill players on the perimeter. A lot of bubble screen. The same stuff, nothing that we haven't seen. A lot of spread. They run a lot of 3-1 and 2-2 formations. We talked about this. We got to be great tackling in space, defending bubble. This is against Vandy. And they will run Arch a little bit. They'll run him on some predetermined runs. Not so much like they did last year when he was expendable. But some real good skilled players out there. Try to do I don't know who's sitting out for them. Here's a tight end now in the game. Was 3-1 formation. This is probably a run play inside. Let's see. Yeah. I call it, Denny. Some of these guys are so predictable. They just bring a tight end and they're just so predictable that they're going to run the football. I haven't even seen this play yet, but you bring this kid in the game, tight split. You're looking at all these little things, Denny. What are the splits? What's the down and distance? Which tight end's in the game? Is it and there's the outside zone. We saw that against Michigan State. We haven't seen a ton of outside zone this year. More inside zone is what we see. All right, what's this formation? Here's 3 and the tight end on the backside. I'm guessing they run the ball here. Let's see. I haven't seen this. They ran it the other way. But they're running the ball. They bring a tight end a game. Big time tendencies with personnel, tight ends. You know what I mean by, Denny, some guys are so predictable by, you just bring a tight end in the game and they want to run the ball. So they're running zone here. They get good movement. I don't know how much more you want to see. I just want to take a look.
Well, I like looking at it. I'm just working on my technical thing. So
any comments about any of this stuff? Let's see this formation. So now you got a tight bunch. This is kind of a run deal here, or picks out here. Tight formation. You got this big guy up in a stance.
Yeah, my thing about looking at last year is they had the talent they had at wide receiver, and they had Quinn Ewers. So you're talking, and I know they had a little bit of Arch, but and then they came in and Ewers looked like John Elway, and Sark took winked of school.
Okay, but Denny, I get it. I understand that personnel is different, but you're getting a feel for how the guy attacks your scheme. You say, he took him to school. Well, what were the things? Was it just personnel? I mean, what did we get out, man? Did we get out? Did he fool us with formation? Did he do
they
things?
Fooled him with that reverse. Remember that guy?
I know. But that's what I'm saying is that you want to look at a ton of bubble screen. You want to look at just really the getting an idea. How does he want to block you?
Yeah.
He blocked Vandy, who runs different stuff one way, but that don't mean how he's going to block you. You follow me?
Yeah.
And how does he attack your scheme? Okay, again, there's different players, but I always would take a peek at that to get an understanding of a guy. What's his thought process? Chop block, bubble. Yeah, we got to tackle in space. One more play, Denny. Yeah, they beat Vandy pretty good. What's this formation? Again, a lot of shifting. Sark, I don't hardly ever see the guy come out in a formation. I don't think you've seen him come out in a formation and run a play. He's always coming out in a formation, and now he's shifting. And now he has 2 backs in the backfield. That's the first time we've seen 2 backs in the backfield. Back, tight end. So he's got 3 guys here. They can run counter back here. They can run something this way. What does he run here? Let's see. Now he got motion, and he's running, that motion just enough to make your adjustment. and widen out the coverage. This guy widens out, and now he runs the ball in there. Too much. See, people talk about eye candy. Well, there's a reason you have to adjust with the motion. All right, so this guy goes in motion. Okay, but you got him moving. You got a lot of dudes moving, and you don't want to have too many guys out of position. Like this guy's still out of position. So those are things. See, Denny, that right there ain't got nothing to do with talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got nothing. You know what I mean? It's like, how is Wink going to adjust to that? Let's go back, Denny. That's good enough. You follow me?
Yeah, it is. I think the job. You talk about what a job for a head coach, and Biff today said it's not. I thought he was going to say, they're trying to win the game and everything else, but he said the only thing he's trying to do is love and care for the kids. I don't know. They got a new offensive coordinator. Everybody's checking their phones to see where they might be jumping to. Everybody's got. They have no idea who the head coach is going to be. I don't know how anybody's head is going to be in this game. I know the fans games, they'll tune into the game, but nobody's really talking about the game. I don't know how the players. I know they got to go to practice and everything else, but it's more than likely that the head coach, it's almost a guarantee about the head coach, and it's almost a guarantee that almost all their position coaches, they're all going to be gone. So
yeah.
I don't know how they're concentrating.
Yeah, I get it. It's a miserable situation. It isn't just the coaches that are probably going to be out of work, the assistant coaches. So those guys again, we talked about it. One hand on the projector, the other hand on the phone, trying to find a job. Okay, so that's happening. And then some of the kids that are coming back are doing the same thing.
Right.
And, the guys that are going to come play in this football game, it looks like Gio, captain, not playing. Moore, captain, not playing. Bredeson's hurt, probably not playing. So,
and Jay Sean Barham is not playing either.
Yeah, so the leadership of the guys that are in there. Again, Danny, you hate to say it, but some of these guys, it's an opportunity to market themselves. If I was coaching, I would talk about some of that stuff too. Let's give them whatever reason you can to get them to play hard. All right, Denny, market yourself so that the next coach at Michigan wants to pay you and keep you. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's not a bad method to motivate guys, but play like hell for your buddy is the old school way of doing it. And again, I don't know what the hell these young guys what they're thinking now because they got so many different opportunities financially.
Yeah, put something on tape. Maybe you'll have a good game and you can show that to them. Just reset it here at the end. We have a lot of people coming in talking about Biff being a serious option and promote Biff. You and I are in agreement that he is not going to be the next head coach. And my reason is that there's not another team in the country that would hire Biff or even seriously consider him for a head coaching job. And people that are like, well, we'll just keep him around because he'll keep some of the players. These guys might hit a jack. What's Biff going to do? What's Biff doing as a head coach? What's Biff doing as for his offensive staff? And you might think it's totally putting a finger in the dike or putting a Band-Aid, however you want to say it, because the Biff's going to be then he's more than likely gone. The same people that are like, oh, keep Biff because it'll keep the players. Half the players are probably least anyways. At least if you have another coach that's out there.
I don't believe the play. Denny, you hire, again, I said this, you hire the right guy, he will find a way to keep the players. And they'll want to play for him. Okay, if he's got the bankroll and can match what the enemy wants to offer, and you bring in the right guy and give him a chance to sit down with these kids, I just,
Yeah, Scars addressed the players and their families. We understand that, but families can say whatever they want, and players can talk about that too. But the players, he might be able to retain some. Whoever the next head coach, and if he's at another place, he's going to be able to bring a half dozen or dozen players along. There's going to be a half dozen players that are going to leave, no matter what.
If you're going to make the argument for Biff, I mean, if you're really so focused on somebody that's on our staff, well, who is the best coach on our staff right now? If that's kind of the argument you're saying is like, let's hire a guy who failed at Charlotte, bought a team in Baltimore, or the best coach on our staff. If it has, you know what I mean? So you could make the argument that there's some guys on our staff that are better than Biff.
Well, yeah, but they don't have any head coaching experience. So
yeah, we talked about our predictions. Hell,
let's have a prediction, Scar.
There's a lot of stuff that they have to deal with if you come to Michigan, and I know I'd like to see Jeff Brom.
That's not a bad prediction, Scar.
Well, Denny, the argument for Jeff Brom, and the thing, Jeff Brom is he wanted to come back to his university, and he's coaching there, but he's not winning a national championship at Louisville. He's not winning a national championship at Louisville. They're not going to have the money to compete with Oregon, Ohio State, LSU now. I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong, but if Jeff Brom can win a national championship, a Big Ten championship at Michigan, he can do that. So that's the one thing that we might be able to pry him loose. Same thing with Clark Leah. You're not winning. I don't know. Vandy's probably got a lot of rich alum. They got a lot of wealthy alumni over there. They might have a good bankroll for him.
Yeah, well, while there might be this idea that they're still stringing along a dream of Kalen DeBoer, he's going to have to lose the next game. What if he wins that one? Is he really going to go all the way, and then they're going to be left as a bridesmaid? If they are, I can't believe that they already got some deal in place there. The more that I look at it, the best coach that's out there and he's available is Whittingham. And if I had to make my prediction today, that's who I think the next head coach for Michigan would be.
Yeah. Tough physical coach. He fits our model, Danny. Worked under Urban Meyer. Physical. He's a physical spread guy. He's not one of them. Robert Salah is he's a Dearborn guy, man. I know his high school coach. They got Robert Salah, the former Jets coach. Robert Salah, he's a bad dude, man. I mean, I get it. He failed as a pro coach, but
the Jets, who has it?
No, you're right. It's a different animal there, but I like him, man. I know a lot of people that know him. He's a Michigan guy. He's a state of Michigan guy. Played at Fordson High School.
I've talked to Robert Salah before. He's a personable guy.
Oh yeah, he could definitely recruit and motivate, and I
like that name.
So do I. There's a lot of great. Listen, I mentioned Cliff Kingsbury. I got tore up. He won at Texas Tech. He coached in the NFL. He's got the Washington offense doing something. There's a physical spread. He's a smart coach. He's a lot like Lincoln Riley offensively. Denny, with a physicalness to it.
Yeah, Bill. The thing about Minter is that you might as well bring Jim Harbaugh back. I just don't see that. Now, the other thing about it that people have talked about quite a bit is that Minter's an NFL guy, and if you remember when Minter took over for Mike McDonald, the conversations and all the coaches, what they would say about Minter is he's the exact clone of McDonald. Those guys act the same. They walk the same. They talk the same. Their principles are the same. Their coaching's the same. If I'm an NFL team and I'm looking over the Seahawks, they might be the number one seed in the NFL. Wow, McDonald's done a hell of a job. Let's get somebody like him. They got the carbon copy that's sitting right there. Yeah. And my profile has Michigan going with a coach that has head coaching experience and has no ties to Harbaugh. So Minter actually strikes out twice on my profile. But, and that's what I think it's very reasonable that is also Ward Manuel's profile. So I don't think Minter has a chance, but I understand why people are saying, he would be a good head coach, so.
Yeah, a lot of these NFL guys, they don't want to come back and deal with this headache, which is NIL and all this. Seriously.
No.
I remember talking to Jimmy Herman, my old teammate, Michigan's D coordinator. And once he got into the NFL, he said, you ain't going to see me back in college. You never did. He never went back.
I said, what if they did go the assistant? I don't think they're going the assistant route. They just went the route where Sharon Moore didn't have any experience. So I know you want the best guy. So if you're saying I want the best guy, so Schumann's down there. He is the
Well, you know what's helping Schumann, Danny?
coordinator for
Georgia. Georgia. You know what's helping him? The success that Dan Lanning is having.
Exactly.
That's helping him. Working for Kirby. Kirby, is worked under great people. But I personally don't want an unproven coordinator. Personally, that's me. There's no doubt he's a good coach, but go take the Tulane job and build that and prove yourself, Schumann. Go take the Central Michigan job, prove yourself. I know Lanning. Oregon went and hired him right out of Georgia.
Scar, you were talking about Harbaugh's in Aker and I guess a shot at his faith or whatever else. Brian says Michigan wouldn't hire a Latter-day Saints. So Whittingham is a Mormon.
Yeah.
A friend that I was talking with a friend. He's a mutual friend of ours. He said, "Hey, Denny, there's a lot of Mormons in Michigan." I don't know. Do you think that factors in at all? That I would think what factor in would be more is that he's just a Utah guy. He went to BYU and he's in that region and he's never been out. That's where he's been. And so that would be more of if there was a sticking point. Now, as far as just a head coach, he's heading into this year, he was looked at as one of the top 10 coaches in all of college football. And, now he's out there on the street and Michigan is looking for a head coach. So I don't know. I went on and on and on. There's the direct question. You think Michigan would not hire him because he's a Mormon?
Yeah, those are the questions that, you have to wonder, because you look at Jordan Aker hanging out with dudes that are mocking Harbaugh's faith. You know what I mean? And his faith decisions about his. So you just never know. We don't know, Denny, how those big time decision makers are thinking.
No,
it should be irrelevant. It should be totally
Robert Saleh. Okay.
I get it, Denny. It should be irrelevant. It should be Robert Saleh. I don't know. I don't know. What he is, but but yeah, he's definitely from a different part of the country. Whittingham's from. Denny, when we played BYU back in '84, one thing that was totally different. You're right, character, man. Those dudes, most of their team was married. Those guys were married. We're at the bowl game. Those guys were almost all married. And the Wolverine, I think we had one guy married. At the bowl game when we played BYU back in the Holiday Bowl back in the day. So they were all
Robbie Bosco.
And,
sack, did you pressure Bosco at all? Or
I had a sack on him. I had an interception in that
Robbie
game.
Bosco, look at that.
Yeah, we should have won that game at the end. But yeah, I actually looked at Whittingham the other day. I just missed him. He came and started coaching there right after.
Yeah. So who was your prediction? You're going with Brom.
Man, predict. I
can't
predict. I know what I want. Danny, I know what I want. I don't know what the hell Ward's seeing and what he's hearing, and I just want a guy that that can hang in there and recruit with Day and Lanning and outcoach Signetti, outlead Signetti, and have our team smart and prepared and physical, character, toughness, discipline, just like Original is talking, man, doing all the little things. And Whittingham has proved that, man. Denny, the thing that I got out of coaching because I found myself looking at my watch my last couple of years of coaching. I used to – that's crazy. I would never look at my watch when I was a young coach. Like, when the hell am I getting out? That's when I knew it was time to get out.
They're like, the poker room's closing.
That's right. There's something's going on. Anyway, that's when I knew it was time to get out. I'm cheating the kids.
Okay.
So the question about an old guy, but everybody's different, man. Like, we hired Kerry Combs. Kerry Combs, I remember him working the camp, bouncing off the wall like he was pounding Dan Campbell type caffeine intake, full of juice. So some guys are still full of juice at 65 years old. And that's what we can't predict if they're, because you're going to have some wisdom there, but do they have the energy?
Yeah, the one thing for me that people, sorry about that, that was me, that are against Whittingham because of his age, and I understand that part. Well, the thing about Kurt Signetti is that they're just 2 years apart. So if Signetti, does it change your mind at all? I'm asking just the fans out there. If you're somebody like Whittingham's too old, we need somebody like Signetti. Okay, well,
Yeah, you're right. It's a good argument you make there, Denny, that the age thing is, if you bring the wisdom, you obviously you're going to have the wisdom as long as you can bring that energy every day. I remember Jack Harbaugh a long time ago talking about coaching. I remember him saying, football coaching is a young man's game.
Well, it's tough to pivot. Everybody had they were at the wish list. I'm sure DeBoer, but a lot of people. I think that in the weekend, people were this weekend. Their eyes were on Dillingham, young, and just in his 30s. Here he was, and now it's tough to pivot to say, oh, now we're going for a guy that's closer to 70. Okay, it's tough. That's tough, but that's where we're at. I mean, you got to flip around.
Yeah, and you believe what you heard. Michigan never offered him, so. Yeah, the thing about the older coach, people talk about wisdom with Whittingham. There's nothing he hasn't seen. Nothing. He's seen it all. He's seen every offensive scheme, every defensive scheme, every situation with hiring coaches, firing coaches, disciplining players, dealing with leadership, dealing with board regents, dealing with athletic directors. He's seen everything. Nothing he hasn't seen, man.
Has he seen a regent or a board of trustee sending DMs to?
Probably. Heck yeah, he's seen it all, Benny. He's seen everything. He'll know how to deal with those guys, and he has, he'll sit down with them and whatever. But I'm just saying, he's seen everything,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I hit it right when I said that, man. We want a football version of Dusty May. Find that guy, Ward. You did it once, do it again, man. Find that guy.
Well, a lot of people say he had him, but then they said they didn't offer him. I would say this on this, and I don't know exactly how it works. I thought that, DeBoer, when they turned him down, they would pivot in the morning if it wasn't even on Friday night to Dillingham. And before they get to an offer, he knew that Michigan wanted him, but it made it look like Michigan did not want him at all, despite what everybody was saying. And should Ward have just, made him an offer if he really didn't want? I mean, Michigan fans wanted him. They said, well, it would have showed that they really wanted him. I guess my question or point is that did they really need to, if he wasn't going to leave Arizona State and they had a conversation saying, look, we will pay you $15 million or whatever it was without a formal offer. If he said, look, guys, it's just not about that. I'm just staying here. I want to be the Mark Few of college football. I think there's a possibility. I don't know. People have just said, you offer him anyways, so at least you could say it. And, the fans, I think, would have felt better about that, but it just made him more upset about the whole situation.
Yeah, Denny, also that I was researching the search firm. Search firms are like media savvy, CIA, curveball throwing, misdirection, leak type of dudes. They don't always put out the information that's real. That's kind of I was studying it a little bit. What role these search firms do, and I'd like the listeners to do some research on it. That I think some of it they throw out curveballs, and they might not even be looking at certain guys to throw the scent over here a little bit. I don't know how true that is.
Well, so Jed Fish, it got leaked either by Turnkey that was hired, the background investigators. They had someone that leaked that Jed Fish came up dirty on something. And so it was either Michigan. I don't know why would Michigan put that out there. They haven't been throwing very much information out there at all. If you're hiring an organization to help you having them leaking stuff seems like it defeats the purpose of having.
Maybe Denny, I don't know, but maybe there's guys that they really, really want, and maybe they want to put the focus somewhere else to maybe so the media isn't focused on him. So this guy likes Brahm. I've always said it. The last guy I wanted to defend when Jeff Brahm was coaching in the Big Ten, I always said this because I could never, ever figure out what the hell he was going to do down in distance. I remember, just putting myself as a defensive coordinator going against Jeff Brahm is like, this guy is, I got no clue what the hell he's doing down in distance, personnel groupings, whatever. And he's won with a lot of different types of quarterbacks. Man, I hope Ward could close the deal. Denny, that guy right there is my number one. If someone said Jeff Brahm tomorrow, man, I'm happy. I'm happy for those kids. I'm happy for Michigan. Let's go. Let's go, Signetti. Let's go, Dane. We got our guy. Jeff Brahm was able to compete at Purdue with those dudes, man. Give him Michigan.
All right. Well, I'll give you the final word.
Let's Ward, big fella. We got faith. We got to keep faith in you, man. Come up big. This is like a huge decision. Get it right. Merry Christmas and go blue.
There he is, Jim Scarcelli. Thanks so much for joining us. And don't forget, why not join us over on the Maize and Blue Review? We're doing what we're doing right now all day and all night, talking about the coaching search. Oh, yeah, Michigan basketball, we're doing that as well. Wolverines, check out the podcast that talks about the team for a half hour, about the game last night. It's all good. Thanks for joining us, and we will talk with you on Wednesday.